Election day is on Tuesday, and in Seattle, voters are choosing between incumbent Mayor Bruce Harrell and his challenger, Katie Wilson.
I recently sat down with both candidates to discuss the city's top issues, including homelessness. They each had some sharp criticism of the other's approach. Here are portions of those conversations with Harrell and Wilson. Your challenger, Katie Wilson, you've brought her up a couple of times already now. One of the things that she has voiced concerns about is your record on homelessness. She says that there are thousands more people who are living on the streets right now than even before you took office. She believes that the strategy under your administration has been more pushing people around to different neighborhoods rather than actually taking care of the problem. What is your response to that?
My response, number one, is my opponent has done absolutely nothing in this space. It's very easy to criticize when my opponent has zero experience in treating homelessness.
That is a fact, unfortunately, but you still haven't fixed the fucking issue, and this issue has been going on for years since you've been in office. So it really wouldn't matter what the situation is. Y'all both don't have any fucking experience at this point, so both y'all pretty much lose in this situation. But if she has something to respond to on this situation, I gotta hear what she has to say.
The fact of the matter is that 70% of the people we are treating for homelessness in Seattle, 7-0, did not become unhoused here in Seattle.
I can believe that because I heard a lot of people move from California.
Fact is the city inherited a model that's supporting a regional approach, and they are the only city in the whole county that pays into this fund. The fact of the matter is that in this country, homelessness has gone up 18%. That's almost 800,000 people, almost 1 million people that are homeless in this country.
That's a choice. A lot of this situation has been going on. You can say what you want. You can disagree with me if you want, but guess what? All this homeless problem is still a choice. A lot of people go through this stuff because they've been through a lot of shit, but it's still a choice at the end of the day. Some people don't know how to buck up and actually put in the work and get themselves back on their feet, and some people choose to just choose to put themselves in the worst position possible. They choose to do this shit. I've heard plenty of people talking about they choose to be homeless. And this is from other people that I've talked to.
Homelessness has gone up in the state. Homelessness has gone up in the county. And so to criticize Seattle for its challenges, which I openly embrace to do better.
They kick him the fuck out. That's all you got to do. That's all you have to do. Give him to Gavin Newsom. Newscum. But give it to Gavin Newsom. Let him figure this shit out.
That's an unfair and inaccurate criticism. Easy to make, hard to do. Her plan, her housing plan to hold up 4,000 emergency shelter. That's her plan. Number one, she has no plan on how to pay for that. And
you know something? He actually got her on this one. He actually does, because he don't even know what the fuck to do to pay for the plane too. Because this is a $250 million budget deficit. And the fact that he knows that and shoot, man, just he kind of hit her down on he hit the nail on the coffin on that one. And I can be objective to the fact that he's right, but he's still fucking up at the same time.
That takes money right out of affordable housing. The levy that we passed.
We don't need we need affordable housing, but the only reason why we don't have affordable housing because y'all keep raising the fucking taxes. And I believe a lot of this taxes, the property taxes being scammed. So I would like to explain more about this, but I'm going to give y'all my thoughts at the end.
Keeps 9,000 people in their homes, creates 3,100 more houses. That's 12,000 people that we're preventing from becoming homelessness. So 85% of the tiny homes you see in the entire county are in Seattle.
True. Matter of fact, let me give my proposition right now. If I was governor of this state, and I'm just giving my proposition, my legislation, I would lower the property tax. Property tax are meant for three simple things: infrastructure, protection, policing, pretty much, and school systems. Now, if you want these things, we would have to lower the taxes. Now, we don't know where the rest of this money goes, because I know for a fact a lot of people being overpriced on property tax, and I want to make sure it gets lowered. That way, a lot of these apartment buildings can actually lower the prices, can at least lower the prices a little, possibly a little bit more, to actually make apartments more affordable so you don't have to live from paycheck to paycheck. That's the goal for me.
And we've increased people from shelter to permanent supportive housing by 50%. So we are showing how it can be done, and homelessness can be solved, but it must be done on a regional basis.
Yeah, but they should not have to be fucking, it should not have to come out our tax dollars. That's the problem you don't get. Like, homeless people make this choice. You cannot force them to live in a fucking home. They have to want to do it. If you can't force these people to get a job, they need to get the fuck out of here. I read the comment section a while back, and this was going on, and it was talking about Tacoma. And I was looking at one of these comments, and yes, I say this again. Housing is not a right. Buying a house is a right, but owning a house is a privilege. And let me explain why, and I'm going to explain this quite simple. Try not to pay the property tax to see what the fuck happens.
So that's a criticism that someone on the sidelines that really has done nothing in this space can make, but it's just inconsistent with what we're actually out here doing on the street.
One thing that we have noticed is that a lot of those homeless encampments and those tents, they have been clear. They're not as visible as they were, say, 5 years ago. Do you give Mayor Harrell any credit for that?
Because they're hiding in fucking little smaller locations, like under bridges. They're hiding in fucking like grass areas. Let me put it like this, and I've heard, and this is possible, they could be hiding in the fucking like these trails. And women put themselves in the biggest problem ever because we don't know where the fuck what's happening in those trail areas. Like, people like to go hiking and stuff. These homeless people hiding every fucking where. And it's not only putting, women in danger, but it's also putting kids in danger as well. So this is not safe, especially a lot of people who like to go camping at fucking night. You got to think about this. Like, this is not safe. These people should make this. Another legislation, loitering is illegal. If they sleep on the streets, it's illegal. I'm not fucking for this shit. If we're going to try to make this place, this city, and this state safer, we got to eliminate the fucking huge issue. They need to they need to find a job, get their shit together and get a fucking job. If they don't want to do that shit, and if they want to continue to fucking cause problems, then we could throw their asses in jail too. Matter of fact, they'll be their shelter.
I think the problem that we're seeing is that the current administration's approach puts a big emphasis on throwing tents into dumpsters. But the fact is that we're not actually doing anything for the people that were in those tents. And so we have thousands more.
What the fuck we need to do for the people who choose to make these stupid decisions? I'm going to say this now. Just vote for Harrell so we can get rid of this shit for the next 4 years and we don't have to deal with her. I'm telling you right now, this is my warning. Vote for Harrell. Don't fucking vote her in.
People sleeping unsheltered on our streets today than we did when Harrell took office. And we also have lost shelter capacity. So every single year the current mayor's been in office, we have lost shelter beds. And this includes these kind of really important, 24-hour beds with wraparound services. Like, that's exactly what we need to successfully get people off the street. And we have not been investing in.
That don't mean there's going to be problems ahead of time. That does not mean it's going to stop problems from starting.
That. And so, yeah, no, we need to do better.
He has said that he's invested in permanent housing, that he wants to create more of those. But you, on your website, you had mentioned that you want 4,000 new temporary emergency units. Why is that important?
That's not going to work. That is not going to work. All you're going to do is start building crack houses. That's all you're going to start making is completely start making crack houses. Y'all, that is a fucking bad move.
to you?
I mean, the fact is that we need to do both. We need to invest both in that permanent supportive housing and in shelter. And I mean, I will say that on the permanent housing front, we have a crisis there too, right? Our affordable housing sector is, you know, there are.
I'm sorry, lady, but you actually look like a crackhead right now with your hair so messed up. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I was joking. I heard for some reason, I think I heard something about her being a Nepo baby or whatever the fuck you call that shit. But yeah, chick, you look poor. That looks horrible. Man, a chick in a suit. That shit's gotta go.
Lot of financial pressures, and we've actually seen housing providers selling off buildings. So we have lost, I think, over 1,000 units, and that's like a permanent loss to our affordable housing stock. And
we don't need that type of shit. What we need to do is lower taxes. That's what we need to do. Affordable housing are for broke fucking people. Affordable housing is for lazy fucking broke people. That's why they on SNAP benefits too, because they expect us, the taxpayers, to pay for their bullshit while they all sitting there in their ass in a nice fucking apartment being lazy as hell.
that's again something that we've known about that for a couple of years, that crisis was coming, and unfortunately the current mayor failed to address it before it got to that point where buildings were being sold off. But on the shelter front, it's really important that we create more emergency housing and shelter, because that is the first place that people come inside, right?
That's all they're gonna do is make the budget deficit go higher and higher. And if she is in office, that bitch will probably go up by 150 million. If that, it'll be probably between 100 to 150 million. That shit probably hit 500 million while she's in office.
And again, we have more people unsheltered than ever before, and we absolutely need to get people inside with that shelter and support. And that's just something that has not been emphasized nearly enough over the last 4 years. And if we're going to meaningfully address the homelessness crisis and the public safety problems that kind of revolve around it, we need to do better on shelter.
If you'd like to watch the extended interviews with Harrell and Wilson, just head to the election section on Fox13Seattle.com or the Fox local app.
The race between Harrell and Wilson was also the main topic of discussion on this week's episode of Seattle News Weekly. Fox 13 anchors Aaron Mayovsky and John Hopperstadt sat down to talk about the race and what each candidate is doing right now to try and pull ahead in the polls.
You know what? I don't even care, because guess what? It only took 4 fucking minutes to know who's bad and who's worse. And I'm just being honest. It didn't even take that long, because all they're fucking doing is making excuses. Bruce Harrell was just fucking throwing shots at her. He was throwing shots at him. That's the normal fucking thing when it comes to politics. However, when they both came up with a solution, it still wasn't even fucking, they had never had no resolution. At least when I fucking said what I said, the resolution actually made more fucking sense, because it doesn't even cost taxpayers a fucking dime. Because me personally, like I said, and I told y'all before, if I was a fucking billionaire, trust me, I'll be spending I'll be coming out of my own pockets, making sure they get the fuck from out of here. Because I'm just being who I am, and let's be honest, these homeless people are doing nothing but making this fucking city worse. It's causing loss of small businesses. Not only that, tourist attractions is getting, it's not even tourism, is going to be bad at the same process. The only thing that made tourists float through this city recently was the Mariners game. They got nothing to go for after that. And you know they were going to do whatever it takes to make that fucking city look clean during the Mariners playoffs games. So I came up with a better resolution to try to get rid of this shit. And guess what? Like I said, if I became a billionaire, I get rid of all this bullshit. So let me know y'all thoughts in the comment section down below.